that nose, that angle has to be right. When you draw a nose, for example, this is I'm segueing into different lines here, but drawing a nose like this on a floating head or a head that's been cut off and it's being held by these strands of rope or wire, it could be anything. Uh, there's going to be some foreshortening involved, which is the ability to be able to show that, the classic comic book punch, of a character. The hand is coming at you, the background recedes, or I should say the rest of the arm recedes into the background, whereas the fist or the hand is actually uh, quite pronounced in the drawing itself. So you've got that. That's the foreshortening, making the again, your eyes or the square in the comic book or this entire panel is actually the camera view. You're the viewer, and whatever's coming at you, the closer it gets to the camera view, the bigger it's going to appear. The further back of the part of the body, the smaller it will appear. Hopefully that makes sense to any folks out there that may love art and appreciate it, but not necessarily be artists themselves or necessarily want to pick up a pencil. Anyways, going back to the hand, while I talk, I actually try to size up what I need to do next. So here I want to make a straight line for the sword. The key is actually that the scabbard would be down here somewhere. We could draw a partial of the scabbard here. Let me make a quick line. Okay? But it has to be wider than the sword itself. It can never be the exact same width. That's going to look completely off to the naked eye, even to someone who doesn't necessarily like to draw or draws. Uh, the human eye is the human eye, and it sees what it sees. I always remember that when it comes to art of any kind, but especially uh, my particular niche, I guess you could call it, which is comic style art, comic book art. Now here we have a dilemma because I'm trying to show the points of entry into a drawing like this, that the original penciler he did a sketch. He gave me the permission to actually redraw what he did and correct basically some obvious mistakes. If the blade is here, the hilt cannot be this far off. It has to be aligned. The hilt itself will be a little bit thinner than the actual blade, but it cannot be completely so off center that the bottom part of the hilt will only come to the middle part of the sword. Okay? It can't even be like it'll appear to look like it's a third of an inch or a tenth of an inch in. It's just going to look off. So let me remove this. I use this as a catch-all for the rust on the metal here, the metal clip. Sketch lines and practice with a pencil. Let me see if I can show you what I plan on doing. These are my beginning lines here. Now the way that I align it is I make sure that one of my guiding lines is here and matches and touches exactly this pre-printed lines that were accurately. This is an 11 by 17 Bristol board, so it's 11 inches in length. 17 inches in length and 11 inches across. So as long as this line matches here, I can do this. Oops. Here. So that's my scabbard, and then we're gonna open it up. Even if see, if I align it to this line here, that scabbard is going to be a little too wide, and the scabbards aren't made for blades that way. They're made to fit the blade, but not to let it rattle on the inside. So here we're going to have to align this marker here, and we'll go here. Okay, I know it seems maybe to some people painstakingly. It could be boring, but that's for some people. But okay, these are going to be my main lines right there. We're going to cast this. We're going to create a filigree, if you will. That way, it creates a border for. Okay, that is not what I intended. See how it goes? Sometimes your hand won't do what your mind wants it to do, but that's okay. These are, as Bob Rice used to say, what was it that he used to say? Somebody correct me out there in the comments. if I got it wrong. Easy mistakes or good mistakes. There's no such thing as bad mistakes in art. Anyways, let me see if I got this down to where I need it to be. Okay, now we're gonna do. Okay, hold on. It has to be here. I want to give the sword a little bit of an edge. The way it was looking was a little too boring for me. I like cuts and dives into metallic filigree. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch this again. Pardon me while I do that. And realign my paper, my board. It's actually a Bristol board. One of the best, Strathmore, and I usually use Eon drawing boards, but the Strathmore is the second, a great second choice. Okay, so this is going to be incorrect. His little finger is going to have to reach just above. There we go. There we go. That's better. That reminds me more of a, not a Kirby hand. Oops. All right, sorry. I dropped my. All right, folks, here we go again. I was dropping my eraser, which I do too often. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is not aligned. Yeah, actually, even this line is actually incorrect. By the way, it's not so much that I want to be correct as I want to be accurate to what my viewer sees after I'm done with it. The way I figure it is I was entrusted with it to make it better, not worse. So that's the goal. At least that's my goal anyways. I think that's the goal of most pencilers that... Alright, I think we're on the right path here. I'm going to do freehand here. Okay. And then this is too high of an angle for this guard. So this is actually called the sword guard right here. Let me twist this around this way and see if we can come up with a better angle for it. And remember, I'm doing this in pencil. So if the guard, this original guard, once it gets, if this is ever printed, the blue line will fade away. It's a non-reproducible, reproducible blue, color blue, from on a Xerox copy machine, so it will not. Okay. Okay, I'm staying true to the original guard that he drew, but I'm going to have to. There we go. So these lines are inconsequential. I will not ink those lines. Once I am here for the inking, then I will be. Actually, this will be like a support strap. Excuse me. My allergies are getting the best of me this week. All right, let's see. Okay, now you can tell the difference here. I made a mistake. Right here. This needs to be a little bit bigger. There we go. To complement this side here, we're going to bevel it down, create a three-dimensional point. Bear in mind that this here is where I'm going to put these X's. That's going to be blacked in with ink. Should I get the hair right? Okay, I'm already done with the hair. I don't need to go over that. All right, folks, hold on. Let's twist this around again. Now we take the ruler one more time, and we want to get the scabbard right. Now remember, this was printed as a non-repro blue, but because it was printed, I can't erase it, so like what I can do is draw over it and ink over it. As you can tell here, I've got matching, let me see, yep, consistency of line matters, angle of line matters, especially when you're drawing depth. Okay, that's my line. Now I want to make it a little bit thicker. Is that a quarter of an inch, something like that? Maybe a third of an inch. So it's got to be less than the width of the scabbard. I always remember that. Otherwise it looks janky as heck. Alright. Alright, hold on. Now I think that's going to come across as a little too... Nope. Just about right. Okay. There we go. So you can tell that his angle, because it was freehand, he didn't use a ruler, was really off. Now this is going to be the fun part. You're asking yourself, how far is that hilt going to go? That's a very good question. Oops. Sorry for the... Sorry guys, I got to readjust the camera. Alright. Don't be afraid to move your drawing around as you draw. So what we're going to do, I think his length was a little too long. We're going to have to cut this off, because otherwise you'll never, if the hilt is too long, then you can't withdraw. It's going to be really almost impossible to withdraw that blade from the scabbard. You'd have to reach super high up here to reach for it. Let me take another look the other way. Okay, this is going to be a freehand drawing here. No, this was raining all last week, so my allergies were really getting a hold of me. Okay, I'm going to use one of his